No settling here. The Bisco swap is a lot easier. Holy stat. Holy. Oh, what the? Sir? What the? Sir, excuse me. We need to relax. We need to relax, guys. What is with this loot? It is too much. Hello, everyone. How's it going? It's been a few days. We've been doing some big boy stuff on stream, some huge crafting. There's some stuff to show in a little bit, but not until it's finished. So that's really been what's been taking my time. What I want to spend a few minutes today talking about is 100% Delirium and more high investment farming and just what it feels like. What I'm doing here, this is not me proposing, hey, you can make 20 divines an hour or anything like that. All this really is this is the first time I've had like a big juicing build since Sentinel League when I had cast on Crit Forbidden Right. And I wanted to do higher investment mapping. This is doing 100% Delirium. And this is just what I've been farming a little bit when I've had time to run maps. I've run very few maps in the past week just to kind of explore what my build is able to do and see what higher investment farming looks like. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get straight to the strategy, what I did, and what the profits look like. So we're going to start off with the basics here, just so everyone's on the same page. What I did is used 5 Delirium orbs on each map. What that does is it makes the map 20% delirious per orb that you use. And when you go up to 5 of them, it goes up to 100% delirious. The way that Delirium works is monsters will do increased damage, take less damage, but you get more, it's a more multiplier, item quantity, and more item rarity. You know, as most people know, if you're doing any sort of big boy farming, the higher percent Delirium that you can get, the better. However, the big number here, right? The monster's doing 30% increased damage. That's kind of whatever. But monsters taking 80% less damage is it makes them a lot harder. You need at least, like, honestly, probably 80 to 100 million DPS to really make 100% Delirium feel okay. And even at 150 million DPS, some of the monsters, if the mods are annoying enough, like if it has Enfeeble and they have plus 40 elemental res, stuff like that. Even with my build, some of the monsters can be a little bit slow to kill. However, we're all doing it for the juicy drops and the juicy quant. With all of that said, the big thing that we're going for here actually is the specific rewards. And my strategy here is entirely tuned around those specific rewards. If we check the price of Delirium orbs on PoE Stack right here, we can really see the only ones that actually matter. And that is a Skittering Delirium Orb and a Diviner's Delirium Orb. So Skittering drops Scarabs. You can get Gilded Scarabs, which obviously are pretty good right now. If we check the price of Scarabs right now, Gilded Div is 15 Chaos, Ambush is 8, Reliquary is 6, Bestiary is 6, and so on and so forth. So any Gilded Scarabs that drop is really nice. And then we have the additional bonus of Polished Legion, Div, and Ambush Scarabs are still worth a lot as well. And that's why Skittering Delirium Orbs are so good. And then the reason why Diviner's Delirium Orbs are so good is if we look at stacked decks right here. So yeah, we're looking at about 80 stacked decks per divine. And as you saw in the intro clip, you can get a crazy number of stacked decks per map. The best map that I ran, I think I got 110 stacked decks in a single map. Not to mention, as also that you saw, it can drop many, many different cards. I've gotten both a 7 Years Bad Luck and a Doctor card from the maps that I've run just in the past few days. So yeah, the basic idea is we want to roll up the biggest maps that we can, and we want to make them as juicy as possible so we can get as much Delirium rewards as possible. As you kill the monsters, that Delirium reward goes up, and it takes more and more monsters every single level to finish it off. So the more monsters that we can get on the map, doing things like Elva, Abyss, Breach, running specific maps that give you more distance from the initial start will give you more progress for the Delirium rewards. Some maps are way worse for it, and we'll go into that in a second. And then the way that I roll the maps is I'm just going to use some crappy ones right now. I would use 5 of the good ones, 5 Diviners or 5 Skittering to make it 100% Delirious. Then we want to make it 20% quality. Then we alchemy it, and then I just spam my chaos until I get about 90 to 100% plus, and then I vol it and hope that it doesn't brick. If it goes unidentified, that is actually really, really good because that's a hidden additional quantity, actually. If a map goes unidentified, you actually get 30% additional quantity right there. So it's actually really good if your map goes unidentified. It keeps the same mods that it had before you corrupted it, so that's pretty much like the best case situation because the map doesn't get any harder and you get 30% quantity. We hit basically the perfect map right here, although this is with crappy Delirium rewards, so this isn't really worth running. And then with that, the most important thing that we would do right here is Delirium reward bars fill 100% faster in your maps. The other 3 sextants that I ran were kind of unimportant. I kind of just did whatever, but this one is very critical. You get double reward progress on your Delirium bars. So this one's pretty mandatory for doing the strategy. It is 22 awakened sextants. So if we do the math right here, 22 divided by 4 times 6. So that is 33 chaos per map on the sextant right here. The other 3 sextants are whatever. They're literally just free sextants. So, I'm not really counting that. I'm just using whatever. The orbs are 20 chaos per. So 5 orbs is 100 chaos. So we're at 133 chaos invested so far. In terms of the scarabs that I ran, I actually kept them really, really cheap. You can run any type of elder scarab. I ran a rusted sulfite scarab, a rusted breach scarab, and a rusted ambush. So all of these scarabs are only 1 chaos each, so, you can add 4 chaos on top of that. So we're looking at about 140 chaos invested per map. And what are the results? There are a couple factors at play here. The biggest one is that my original Atlas passives that I was running, you can see that I'm playing around with Beyond right here, but previously I was running Harvest on my Atlas passives, and that actually felt way better. As you can see, I got some decent Harvest juice, and that kind of contributed to the profit. So this tab is running 16 strands. 8 of those maps were running Scarab, Skittering Delirium Orbs, and the other 8 of them were running the Diviners cards. So this is just 50-50, and we can kind of break it down through there. So if we look on PoE Stack right here, this is 16 maps with 140 chaos invested per. We see a total divine value of 33. I'm not trying to jerk anyone's chain here. There is setup. You have to roll your maps. You have to buy the sextant. You have to, honestly, you can use kind of whatever scarab that you want. You have to, roll your maps, set it all up. So there's a little bit of prep time, but not a lot in this strategy. So I'm not going to talk about divines per hour or anything like that, but I'm just going to show you this is 16 maps. The maps did take a little bit to run. This was with Harvest in there. This is 100% Delirium. It does take a number of minutes to run the map. Divines per hour, that varies so much by the player and whatever. It looks like it updated down to 31 divines. PoE Stack likes to update very dynamically. So whatever, we're going with the most recent value right here. So we can say 30.5 divines divided by 16. So 140 is 0.63 divines. So 0.63 times 16 is 10.08 divines invested in the maps. 30.5 minus 10.08 divided by 16 is 1.27 divines profit per map. Now, this is also the full caveat, you gotta sell this stuff. The nice thing is, most of this is very easily sellable. All of the big ticket stuff is sellable. So the raw currency, this is just straight up stacked decks. We have 8.2 divines in just stacked decks right here. We have 2.4 divines in the Vivid Crystalline Life Force. This was really nice to just kind of give us a baseline. Doing that harvest was really nice to just make sure that you're just not losing too much money when you're doing the maps. 7 years bad luck for 16 maps. I don't think that's kind of too crazy for the drops right there. And then, yeah, that's kind of just the stack deck one. So that's 8 of the maps. And if we just want to add that portion of it up, let's see, 8.2 plus 1.8. All right, 11.2 divided by 8 is 1.4 divine gross net pull per map minus the 0.63 investment is 0.77 divines profit per map on the stack deck maps. And the really nice thing about this, and honestly why I kind of lean towards the stack deck setup, is it's really, really easy to sell them. They go almost instantly. You're not trying to bulk sell scarabs or anything like that. You can just list them in your public stash tab and they'll just go like hotcakes. Honestly, that's probably just the direction that I'm going to go personally. But just to show you potential higher end profits, let's look at the scarab setup. And the reason why these numbers are lower is I'm not looking at anything else that I'm picking up besides just the Delirium rewards. So you can evaluate, the orbs against the other orbs. So in terms of the net scarabs, we're looking at 10.9 plus 1.2. I'm just kind of cutting the Vivid Crystalline Life Force in half right there, divided by 8, which gives us 1.5 minus the 0.63 per map. And that is a 0.88 divine profit per map if you're going to do the scarabs right there. It's hard to get very large sample size with this because it does take quite a while to run these maps, but 0.88 divines profit per map, that's not too crazy versus the stack decks, and the stack decks are very, very easy to sell. Not only are they easy to sell, but you get the chance for something like a 7 years bad luck, a doctor, apothecary card drop. For just pure easy effort, that's just going to be my go-to, is to run more Diviners, Delirium Orbs. And then I did a couple other very small experiments right here. So if we look in this tab, this is just 5 cemeteries with only Diviners. The annoying thing about cemetery is I was only averaging about 15 Delirium rewards per map, whereas with Strand, I was getting 17 and sometimes 18 every single map. And if you're investing 100 chaos in just those Delirium rewards, you want to make sure you're running a map that's going to give you the most value right there. Cemetery was much less profitable. I don't think I had a single brother card drop. No, I didn't. Let's see, in any of these, no brother cards at all. That was just no good for us. Here, let's pull this tab right here. It looks like the value breakdown right here is 6.5 divines total. So this is Cemetery with the Delirium. So 6.5 divided by 5 minus 0.63. So we're looking at 0.67 divine profit per map in running Cemetery. You know, that's still within a decent margin of error versus the other stuff that we've been looking at. So, you know, at that 0.67, that's close enough where you get a single brother's gift that is worth, you know, within that margin of error, 0.1 difference. That's 50 maps that you make up for if you just get one of those good card drops. So if they got a long enough timeline, it's probably better no matter what if you just get, you know, a couple of those cards to drop. You know, take all of that with a grain of salt. You know, depends on if you want just like that consistent, you know, doing Strand, getting that consistent profit versus something like Cemetery, a little bit less profit every single map, but you get that one brother's gift and, you know, you've made up 50 maps of difference. And then very quickly, in terms of my Atlas right here, it's pretty scuffed because I was doing some Uber Eaters a few minutes ago. We're going all out into Breach right here. You can see, really, I'm only taking the Breach nodes that give me more quant. We're not really caring about if we get Chayula, Breach Stones. We're only doing it for more Delirium rewards. And then we want to go for as much quant as possible. We get the full hat up here for, you know, stronger map modifiers, more quant. Very important is Imagine Pursuits right here for +1 map count when you kill the boss. So when you kill the boss, if you're at 17 rewards, it'll go to 18. It's just a free reward, which is very, very valuable, of course. I have a couple little nodes here for random ritual because ritual is really good quant. I was experimenting with Beyond. Beyond really was, I couldn't tell the difference, honestly. I'm going to drop these points and I'm going to go back into Harvest. I also have Harbinger right here. It's a nice little free quant. If you want like perfect quant setup, you can drop the Nico setup. I'm doing Pact with Energy, just makes maps more comfortable. But you can go into these pack size mods right here, as well as this Magic Monster Incursions mod right here for the most ideal Delirium rewards possible. I really, really like Pact with Energy. It just makes the maps safer, faster, and it just feels better to run. That's really, really important. My actual Atlas, I'm going to give you guys a link of this in the description below. I'm going to drop all of this Beyond garbage. I'm just going to go back into Harvest. It felt good for that baseline returns every single map that I ran. And yeah, that's basically the strategy. Big Juice Delirium, getting about 0.7 to 0.8 Divine Orb profit per map. Whatever it takes for you guys for doing the prep. It is a little annoying, but it's not that bad. You know, definitely check out my video from last week for bulk map rolling, how to do it all really, really quickly. And yeah, just feels good to have a really strong build that can blast maps like that and very consistent profit. You can toss any other strategy on top of this. You know, you can sell Elva Temples, you could do Betrayal, you could sell Ashlings and do all that on top of that if you wanted to. Yeah, it just feels really good. It's a nice little break from the big boy crafting that we're doing on stream. So definitely join me in a few minutes after I post this video because we're going to go live and we're going to keep trying to see if we can make a mirror tier deck stacking amulet. This will be day 3 of that journey. The goal is to make a amulet that is the best deck stacking amulet possible, and it will be mirrorable for all of you guys for no fee, so you can just pop in the stream, ask to mirror it, and we'll mirror it for you for free. You know, your mirror provided, of course, but we want to just have really, really good items and available for the people. So that's kind of what we've been working on this week on stream. I did craft 2 perfect deck stacking cluster jewels right here. There's a 12 passive and a 8 passive one. These are also available for mirroring if you guys are interested. So just pop in the chat. We can make those items for you. Anyway, I just wanted to share what I've been doing. It's been really fun just blasting maps and having a ton of drops every single map. It's profitable. It's fun. You know, your mileage may vary based on how strong your build is, but I've been having a good time. All right, that's it for me. I'm going to go get this video out there for you guys, and we'll pop on the stream and keep crafting. See you guys soon. Goodbye.